sir. All right, let's have some fun. This stage is my favorite stage in the entire world. This is Bolo, Be on the Lookout, where you come to learn what you need to be thinking about for right now, for 2019 and into the future. You're in the right space at the right time. And I'm excited to spend the next 20 minutes with you and provide some value to you. I want to introduce you to something here. There we go. I want to introduce you to my son, Finn. Finn is 3 years old. 3 years old, or the age of 3 is my favorite age in the whole world. They're exciting, they're exploring, they're not yet in school, they're doing things at a very high rate. They can talk, they can interact, they can love. Finn is a different sort of guy. He's unique. He stands out. He does things differently than other folks. Let me see if I can do this. So I want to tell a bit of a story. So Finn's always doing something different. He's always going against the grain. We were at the White House 2 weeks ago doing a tour in the East Wing there. And while we were doing the tour, we walked into one of the rooms, and there were Secret Service officers in every single room. Normal rules of convention would say you're not going to interact much with a Secret Service officer. But Finn doesn't know normal rules of convention. He walked right up and he said to this Secret Service officer in the back of the room right there, he said, "Are you a police officer?" And the Secret Service officer looks down at him and he gets down and he says, "Kind of like that." And Finn saw this bearded man and he all of a sudden grabbed his face and started doing this. And the officer stood back real quick and he said in a thick Texas drawl, "Son, nobody's done that to me since my grandma." And if I had done that, I wouldn't be standing here on this stage today. But he did, and he was able to, and then he had a nice little interaction with that Secret Service officer after that point. I'm just glad we weren't kicked out. We had a great experience. But that's a little bit about who Finn is and the way he interacts. I wanted to show you a little bit more.
Can you color that paper?
But you draw the next square.
Yeah, color it.
So I put down a piece of paper that I drew a square on, and I wanted him to color that paper. And what I expected to happen was this. He's 3. He doesn't color in the lines, he scribbles. But what actually happened blew me away.
On the back?
Color the paper.
Can I color on the back?
Sure.
Anything?
Yep.
So without any prompting from me, he decided not just to not color outside the lines. He turned the paper over. He flipped it over. He wanted his own canvas to draw on. And at the end of this whole little experiment, he was very proud to show everyone his photo and what he drew. It's a guy with a little guy who's his little friend. I loved this. And the lesson I learned from Finn that day was don't just color outside the box. Flip it over. Don't just color outside the lines. Flip it over. Do something completely unique. And so this is the nexus of what I want to talk about today. Within your organization, what are you doing that is completely you, that is completely unique, that is outside the norm? The world teaches us to color within the lines, to do multiplication tables, standardized tests, be average. That is what we are taught from a young age. Don't stand out or you're going to go to the principal's office. Well, darn it, I like people who go to the principal's office when they're doing things that are appropriate, I guess, but they're standing out, they're doing things differently. In a world that scares me to death, we just saw 2 presentations on AI, and I'm glad I'm not, quote unquote, in that world, but I guess I kind of am. We all are. It scares me to death that automation is coming and already is here in a lot of places. We can't teach people, when you can implant Google in your brain, we can't teach people just how to access information. We can't teach people just things to repeat. We need to teach people how to think. And it starts with us. And so you look at the people who have made a difference in this world. This is just a small sampling. These are folks who did not play by the rules, who inherently did things differently. They played on the edges. They said no. They said yes. They did things that were inherently unique. So, well, that's fun. It's like half of a quote. But that's good. This is the people who see things differently. So we'll go from there. So when you look at the way of the world says says this. Average is good. This is the way it's always been done before. Don't be strange. Don't stand out. We see this in our work. We see this from our bosses occasionally. We see this from legal. We see this from compliance. Embrace the mundane. And no one says it like that, but that's the way they say it when they don't agree with doing something different, when they don't agree with standing out. We're filled in this world of noise. Anyone stressing out a little bit right now, looking at your phone? Right? This stresses me out a little bit. We're filled with this world of noise, and your organization is in that world of noise. You're doing things in many ways that are probably consistent with what your peers do. And so what I want to look at is how you can be a rebel. We talk at August United a lot about being a rebel at heart. And this isn't putting on black eyeliner and bleaching your hair or doing something like that. This is about standing out and doing things on the edges. Because the edges are where the fun happens. And when you look at the edges here, this is what I'm talking about. The what-if-we's, the let's test this out. People who are willing to play on the edges are the ones who make a difference in the world. And when I think about it, I want you to think about the boundaries that existed within your organization under these three contexts. Attracting your customer, delighting your customer, and retaining your customer. Any organization I can think of needs to think about these three things. These three things are critically important. How might we cause people to say this? How can you cause me to look? How can you make me glad I did? And how can you make me want to stay? And so I want you to think about all three aspects of these within your business. What are you doing right now that's playing on the edges in causing people to look? What are you doing right now that's playing on the edges that's making people glad they looked and glad they're interacting with you? What sort of customer experience are you providing? Because as marketers, we often think about this first step, right? And understand, you may say, hey, Tyler, these other things are outside of my purview. They're outside of my job. Well, today I'm going to ask you to not think like that. To think differently, to say, how might I affect these parts of the business? How might I cause people to want to stay? And we know there are organizations that have legendary customer service. Southwest Airlines being one, Zappos being another. There are multiple, Nordstrom. We see all these time and time again where people not only cause people to want to look, but they do incredible things that stand outside the average of the industry to make people want to stay. So, number one point here is explore the edges. The edges are what's interesting. Nobody writes about the fact that you got to work on time. Nobody writes about the fact, there are no headlines that are written about the fact that the bank wasn't robbed. Okay? So think about that, but our marketing often looks like that. We say, we do this great. We're wonderful at this. But we don't always show why or how we're different than other folks or how we stand out. Good organizations do. And so this caused me to think about the edges. Amazon, anybody a big Amazon buyer, getting something at your home every day? A lot of us are. And so I wanted to look at and kind of explore the edges. So I started looking for what is the heaviest thing I can buy on Amazon with free shipping? Because I wanted to find out. See the laughing? It's interesting. The edges are what's interesting. The socks you buy on Amazon aren't what's interesting. So let's see here. I don't know where I'm at. So I found this. It's an engine lathe. It's on sale right now for $27,999, and it has free shipping on it, which is amazing. This thing is thousands of pounds, but you can buy it on Amazon. I thought that was impressive. And I looked on Reddit a little bit ago. This image came up. A key Redditor said, "I think I just saw my neighbor getting delivered the biggest thing you can buy on Amazon," and I loved this. Because this was actually a campaign by whoever this is, Nissan? I forget what that logo is in there. I think it was a Nissan Versa. So it was a campaign. They shipped 3 of their cars through Amazon in huge Amazon boxes on the back of a truck. Okay? It was interesting. It was a viral stunt sort of campaign. And what I don't want you to take away is just do stunts. But I thought this was a brilliant use of the things that we all see. We get these things delivered to our home. You look at an organization that's right here to the west of us here, Carvana. They're fundamentally transforming the way that you buy a car. From the standard dealership to now they have vending machines right here north of the lake where you can go buy your car from the vending machine. Right now in the vending machine, they have a DeLorean that's all done up from Back to the Future, which is kind of fun. But these are folks who are standing out. They're putting vending machines where you can buy cars. Uber. So I also wanted to think about the edges of Uber, right? Nobody thinks twice about an Uber that takes you 20 minutes. A lot of us do this all the time. I wanted to see how far Uber would take me. So I opened up my Uber app. From my home, I punched in New York. I didn't spell it right. I selected it. I made sure, I made sure that my credit card, my work credit card was in there. Sorry, guys. It said I wasn't going to be able to see the fare. And so I wondered where it was going to stop me, where it was going to say, nope, sorry, that's too far. We can't take you. It didn't stop me. It let me book the ride from Phoenix to New York City. It matched me with a guy, and he was coming. He was 5 minutes away. I got scared, and I canceled the ride. Brona was probably cool, but I didn't want to spend the next 36 hours with Brona. What I'm getting at, though, is technology is increasing at a rate, and we need to look as marketers at where are the edges of that technology, because that's where we can really play. That's what's interesting. That's where we can stand out. So I did actually do some research, and there was an individual who took an Uber. This is considered to be the longest Uber ride ever, from North Carolina to Los Angeles. It cost him $5,500. He gave the guy another $4,500 tip to get back. That Uber driver is crazy. And the official stance from Uber is they will take you as far as the Uber driver is willing to take you, which I think is a little bit dangerous, but that's interesting to me. So I want to talk about someone who's playing on the edges. This is a centuries-old institution, the New York Public Library. And they're doing something really interesting with the world of Instagram. So they know that they need to figure out how to stay relevant in today's world. And so with the launch of Instagram Stories, they launched this. So they call them instant novels. So I'm going to give you a little peek about what that looks like. So when you're traveling on the subway or you're sitting down on the restroom, you can read. And they have it there in Instagram Stories, just like this. And you can tap and hold your thumb there and read the page. I thought it was a brilliant use of technology on the edges of technology. Instagram Stories are not typically used for something like this. It's used to showcase little fun things that are going on in the world. But they are hacking, if you want to say, the technology in a way that's different, that's standing out, that's on the edges, that works for them. I want you to take that example as you go back into the organizations you work with and think, how might we stand on the edges of some of the technologies that we use today? So number 2, embrace things that don't fit the narrative. I love things that don't fit the narrative because they stand out. And so I look at McDonald's, and this story you may have seen, you may not have seen. These are 2 individuals who walked into McDonald's, they're college students, and they didn't see images on the walls that looked like them, that represented the ethnicity that they have. And so they went out, they staged a photo shoot in the look and feel of McDonald's and had them in it. They bought a McDonald's polo from Goodwill and walked into the local McDonald's and installed this photo on the wall. And it sat up for 55 days without anybody noticing that it was not approved. And then they tweeted out about it. It got insane sharing. They went on Ellen. McDonald's was like, hey, this is cool publicity. They gave both of them $25,000 sponsor or scholarships. Guys, these kids are kids who decided to do something different, stand out. I mean, can you call it vandalism? Maybe. But this photo is staying up. And I love that they did things that didn't fit the narrative. We work with Borax, an old laundry product, but wonderful product. And something that's unique, doesn't fit the narrative, is they have outsourced basically all content creation. Instead of going through an agency, we at August United work with influencers to create all the content. So we have a variety of looks and feels, of different ethnic backgrounds that are in diversity of content that we're able to have, and we're able to create a lot more, and frankly, in many ways, a lot better content than if we were relying on a single creative agency. So we're doing things again that don't fit the narrative. All right. So this is Tommy. He's our tortoise. And Tommy moves slow, like any tortoise, as you would expect. So when you look, though, when Tommy finds something he likes and he wants, let me see if I can see if we can get there. I don't know. When he sees something he wants, well, darn. I was going to show you a tortoise running. I don't know why it's not working back there, but that's all right. So when he locks onto a goal, he runs. And I've never seen a tortoise run. I didn't realize that that was a thing. I didn't realize that that was possible. But I want you to define your goal. Because when you define the goal, you're not just going to sit there, stagnant. You're going to be able to start running toward it. You're going to define it. I want you to be a fast tortoise. Don't things that do, like, again, not fitting the narrative. But this guy, I wish you could see it. He runs. He runs fast. So this is Finn again. Finn rode a bull, a mechanical bull, for the first time. He didn't really know exactly what to do here. So he stayed on. He didn't realize that you were supposed to let go at some point. And then when he did, he was sad. I love this, though. I want you, when you have your goal, to attack it with ferocity, to have dogged, commitment to that goal, but also to understand when to let go. Because failure is a part of the process. And ideally, you're not always failing, but you're letting go when you find that's appropriate. Number 3, my last point, is do things that others say you can't. This was IKEA. IKEA created an ad that if women peed on it and they were pregnant, it would reveal the deal for the crib. Okay? Yeah. Do things others say you can't. A lot of people would say that's a terrible idea. This was an incredibly successful ad for them. You can't see it. It's kind of washed out down here, but there's a little strip that they put in there that changed colors if you were pregnant. And then, can you imagine people bringing this ad with like pee on it and to buy that? But I love that, and it got a lot of attention for them. All right. Oh, shoot. Let's see if we can play that over. So another thing, decades-old institutions are being disrupted by technology. Okay? Recently, I bought life insurance for my family while sitting on the toilet during a bathroom break at work. Okay? I don't want to, I guess I just did admit that. But Instagram served me an ad. I swiped up. I thought it was intriguing. And I completed the entire process, and it was short. I completed the entire process there. I bought life insurance. I didn't have to talk to an agent. I didn't have to explain to him for hours why I need this. He didn't have to convince me. I knew I needed it. I knew I wanted it. It walked me through a very simplistic process, and I got it. And it was great. These things are being disrupted in a huge way, and we need to be thinking about that, how we're doing that within our organization. Are any of you sick of the political ads that are up? Right, there's a bunch. We're almost done with them. One popped up recently that I thought was interesting, and it was this blue or teal one that said vote for Homie. And I was like, man, this guy's got a cool last name. So I looked up Homie for Senate, and it's not a candidate. This is a company that has started that is disrupting the real estate market. Okay? So they decided to be a little bit unique and put up ads that look like political ads, take advantage of the things that are going on. It's actually completely legal. I thought it wasn't, but it is. And so this is an organization that's disrupting real estate. A lot of realtors in town are ticked. They're super upset that these Homie signs are up. Why? Because they didn't think about it. They weren't gutsy enough. These people did something that other people said you couldn't. And they got immense national attention for it. They're getting immense local attention for it. And now I'm telling a whole room of 250 people about Homie. Can't vouch for them, I don't know them. But I thought that was pretty unique. Okay. So again, when you think about your customer is changing. The face of your customer is changing. The way they're interacting with you and finding you is changing. And you need to be there too. I recently came home to this conversation, and it got me thinking about it.
Wait, what was that thing called again?
A Google.
All right, well, maybe we should get one.
Quinn and crew have one, and we went to their house.
Wait, so why should we get one? What would it do for us?
Anything. We should say something, and then
we can ask it. What vacation should we go on? It can tell us.
Yeah, it can tell us.
We can ask it anything.
Like anything.
How do you talk to it?
You say, "Hey Google, make funny fart noises," and then it makes fart noises.
And then we can say anything, and then it will do it. Whatever we say, if we say hi, nothing will do it. We have to say hi Google, cause that's its name. Google.
You can ask it, what is lava made of?
Yeah.
Crystals and something.
Yeah. Cause we did at Crew's house. Anything.
So our customer, we're thinking about conversational commerce, we're thinking about voice search, and we're not thinking about these individuals, okay? But at 6 years old and 8 years old, they are learning to interact with Google, and it's blowing their mind, okay? Think about it. My son said, you can ask it what vacation we go on next. As marketers, we're thinking about our audiences differently. We need to be thinking about who our next audience is, how they are interacting, what they're caring about. My son touches my screen on my laptop all the time. It drives me nuts because he thinks everything's a touch screen, right? We need to be thinking about that and looking at ensuring that our experiences are getting there. So again, who is our customer today? What do they care about? Who is our customer tomorrow? What gap exists between our customer of tomorrow and how we're serving people today and what they expect us to be? Okay, we've come a little bit of a journey. We know that the organizations like these individuals are disrupting like crazy. They're doing things differently. Airbnb hotels, Bird disrupting our life and our free sidewalks. A simple bank, this is a bank that doesn't have branches, and they've done things in a very unique way. Even old institutions. A convenience store just bought one of the largest insurance companies in the country. Right? It's impressive what they're doing in the world of healthcare. Everything right now is being disrupted. So I think when you look at it, a lot of people say, well, Tyler, this is great, but I'm not creative. There was a study that was done, and it looked at creativity. And individuals who were up to 5 years old, 95% of those individuals were genius level creative. By age 13, only 10% were genius level creative. By adulthood, 2% had genius level creativity. It's because of the constraints we put on ourselves. So I want you all to look at something real quick. I want you to take out a piece of paper in your Rocketbook or anything you have, and for the next 30 seconds, I want you to write down quantity, as many non-traditional uses of a hairdryer as you can. Go. Okay, who's got one for me? Yes? Blowing leaves. Okay, instrument, thawing steaks. Electroshock. Oh, well, that sounds fun. What's that? Heating up your coffee. Melting nachos. That sounds, you've done that, haven't you? That sounds fun. Fixing dents in cars. Okay, it pops back out. Guys, yes? Killing fruit flies. I need to do that too. So if you look, I guarantee you we could source 1,000 different examples. The level of creativity in this room is palpable. It's incredible. You had 30 seconds, you had a key constraint, and you were able to come up with unique concepts, unique ideas. You are creative. You're very creative. You're as creative as you'd let yourself be. Give yourself some constraints when you go into brainstorm so you can get to the edges. So I'm going to end here. Finn likes gummy worms. Who in here loves gummy worms? Like really loves gummy worms? You want to come up? Come on up.
Do I get gummy worms?
Yeah. Oh, you're in for it. Just wait. All right. So you love gummy worms. Okay. So I have a whole thing of gummy worms here for you. But this wouldn't be a pushing boundaries talk if we didn't push a boundary. So I went on Amazon and I worked to find the world's largest gummy worm. Okay? And I have that for you today. I'm a little bit nervous about this. Oh my gosh.
I'm not nervous, I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. Have you seen the Britney Spears thing? I'm going to put this around you. Okay. Oh my gosh. Are you okay? Are you okay? Guys.
It feels so weird.
Yeah. That is a 26-pound gummy worm. It's 8 feet long. Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually loving this.
You can sit down now.
I just get
Actually, no, stay right here. Stay right here. So guys, I want you to think in 2019, okay, what is going to be your 27-pound gummy worm? What are you going to do that's going to stand out? That's going to cause people to remember you after they see you? What's going to be different? Because if you're going to stay the same, you're not going to innovate. You're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to achieve the goals that you have for yourselves. So be like Finn, okay? And you can do
Anything.
Thank you. That's yours to keep. Isn't that so weird?